Yeah, Baylor won, but I still don't feel great because of this.
You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I mean, look, it's the defense, right? That's why I don't feel great about this. Baylor does get the job done, 45-27 to win in Stillwater. It is the Locked On Baylor postgame show. I'm your host, Cam Stewart of ESPN Central Texas and the Cam Show on YouTube. Appreciate you guys making it your first listen today and every day and making this the number one Baylor football show on YouTube. Certainly the number one Baylor football postgame show on YouTube. Bears get it done, 45-27 in Stillwater. They avoid the jinx of facing a coach from that TCU coaching staff after a legendary coach gets fired. Doug Meacham throws out all the stops, and it does absolutely make Baylor stub its toe defensively. Offense looked great, over 600 yards, and we'll go through the stats, but it looked like just great vintage what this Baylor offense should be. I come from a time, as in being a Baylor fan within the last dozen years or so, that like a win is still a win. Like it's tough for me to feel bad after a win. Like it doesn't happen. But twice this season, I've not felt great after wins. And the one time I did feel great after the win, I still was like, can we figure something out defensively? And here after win number 3, I'm asking, can we figure something out defensively? Like, come on, man. That was not good enough. Like, I know it was good enough, but it was not good enough defensively today. But as Scotty B has already pointed out in the comments, how about historian Scotty B on top of this? It's only the third Baylor win in Stillwater since 1939. And they all came in the last 10 years. Chris Johnson off the bench in 2015. And in 2019, they beat the Cowboys by, I believe, this same score. Scotty B can check me on that. I believe that score in 2019 was also 45-27. I was a little surprised to see that it was only the third because Baylor's played Oklahoma State pretty well the last decade or so. Pretty well, and have beaten them, obviously, in a Big 12 championship game. But look, 450 yards to this team? Seriously? And a putrid first half defensively. Let's not pull any punches here. Oklahoma State sucks. And their quarterback, Zane Flores, I used to think it was Flores, but I heard Flores all day, is the worst FBS quarterback that Baylor will face this year. I mean, poor Aaron Murray, the color guy in the booth, his play-by-play guy sets him up, and he's like, what has Zane Flores done well today? And Aaron Murray's like, like he had nothing. Couldn't say any nice thing about Zane Flores. And yet he had them in the game, man. He had Oklahoma State in the game for most of it. It's only a one-score game at halftime. And at the half, Dave Aranda is telling whomever the ESPN sideline reporter was for this game, we got to take the crowd out of it here. The crowd. What crowd, man? One thing I was very much wrong about in this game was that Oklahoma State was going to have a good crowd there. I mean, shoot, man, you think some of McLean crowds are bad. That was horrible today. That place was about 40% full. And I got the head coach saying, yeah, we got to take the crowd out of it here. That's really bugging us. Man, you aren't going to win anywhere if that's a crowd that you need to silence. That you need to get out of your head. I mean, I hear that and I'm like, can we just do one thing well defensively? Can we say one thing right? Can we look good? Can we pass the eye test for any of these? I feel miserable, man, because I'm going off the eye test. And they didn't cover. Damn it. But Baylor wins the game by 18. And they're facing another reeling team next week in Kansas State. And then, TCU, who I still think is one of the toughest teams in the conference, even though they lost last night, which certainly makes Baylor's loss look better. Huzzah. Their other loss doesn't look too hot right now with how Auburn has played the last 2 weeks, especially on offense. But that just goes to show you This defense is just not built for it, man. Just not built for it. Like Oklahoma State has a quarterback that physically cannot throw a touchdown pass. He can't do it. They have to have some other guy go out of the backfield and throw a touchdown pass, throw a touchdown pass the game. And that team still put up 27 on you. Still set their season high in yards and tied their season high in points. Tennessee Martin held them to a better offensive or a worse offensive output than what Baylor did today. And I saw one of the comments in here, aptly put, I think. If you suited up Helen Keller in her prime, she might run for 200 yards against the Bears. She might. It was, again, almost 6 yards a carry. Oklahoma State. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, they're one of the worst teams in all of Power 4. Like, it should be, as I mentioned earlier this week, it should be Oklahoma State against UCLA every other game of the rest of the season. And Purdue and North Carolina match up on the other side of the bracket. And whomever gets the lion's share of 7 games remaining will face off against each other in the Toilet Bowl National Championship. And that team hung with you. But by golly, did you shut them out in the fourth quarter. Like, watching that game, man. Watching that game. That Oklahoma State team is so inept. So brutally inept, especially offensively. And they had you in a blender for a good deal of that game. A good deal of it. Not enough. Baylor's offense is good enough that how do I put this? Baylor's offense is good enough that you never felt like they were in danger of losing the game, like you did against SMU. But it was not comfortable at any point. It was the first time Oklahoma State had scored 20 points in the first half in 11 months. 20 points. It's not 40, it's 20. But looking at Baylor's offense, man, you can't ask for much more. It is a classic Sawyer Robertson day at the office, man. He probably had to throw the ball too much 35 times against a team this bad, but 24-35, 69% completion percentage, very nice. 393 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. No big. Going down the receivers, like, okay, Josh Cameron was your number 1 receiver, Cole Wilson your number 2, Michael Trigg was your number 3. Okay, yeah, sign me up. That's typically how it's going to go. Josh Cameron, 6 for 98. Cole Wilson, 6 for 76. Michael Trigg, 3 for 62. And both Wilson and Trigg had a touchdown. Colby Prentice had another touchdown. 1 reception on 1 target. 73 yards, averaging 73 yards at completion or a catch in this game, and a touchdown. Who would have thunk it? Matthew Klopfenstein got in the end zone as well. The only thing that I would say would be a negative for Baylor's offense in this game is I don't know how much. I don't know if Bryson Washington took a carry after he was kind of wobbly coming off the field. And that would have been early in the third quarter. He got hit. It looked like he might have got hit in the head, but I think really it was kind of the chest, the midsection, which 9.5 times out of 10, it's just you're getting the wind knocked out of you. And I'm guessing that's probably what happened. And he was a little woozy. And they said, you know what, we've got this and we've got other backs. Half a time out of 10, it's a bad injury. It's a bad, like things that happen in your chest. That's a bad deal. But Bryson had himself another good game, like 10 for 77 and a touchdown. That's what he should be doing in a game like this, right? He shouldn't be toting the rock 25 times in a game like this. Caden Knighton, nice homecoming, 5 for 81. And yeah, one of those was 49, but that means the other 4 went for 8 yards a carry. So you got reasonable carries from Knighton, Washington, Turner. You even gave Dodds a couple. So really no problem with the offense whatsoever today. But the defense, again, man, like as good as it looked last week, it looked that bad this week. And they don't force turnovers, right? Baylor probably turns the ball over too much at this point, but the defense doesn't force any. But you avoided the anxiety or the jinx, I guess, of having the legendary coach fired and them getting a dead cat bounce against you the next weekend. But I can't begin to tell you how negative the timeline felt watching this game, on Twitter, which is more inherently negative than it is positive. But it's getting tiresome again. Like, there was no reason to even give up 27 points in this game. There was no reason to give up 450 yards, man. Like, I'm sorry. There just wasn't. And it's nitpicking, I guess, when you win by 18. But at some point, the defense has to look better. And maybe they did last week, but then it's a huge step back this week against a far inferior team than Arizona State. Like, a way worse team, man. And Abe puts it well. There's no complimentary football here. None. And it sucks because the offense is really good. They're situationally, the offense plays really well, but complimentary wise, it's just not good, man. Just not good. Benito, good point here about the kicking game. They punted and lined up for field goals today. How many fourth downs did they try? 2. And one of them was that end of the game. They were just trying to kind of keep on the field to run out the clock. And I think that was the one they converted, right? Yeah, the other one was a way backwards play. I like that. I'm kind of back and forth on the whole fourth down thing. But I will say last week I didn't like a lot of their decisions to go for a fourth down versus kicking. So I guess that's a positive. Michael Turner, another guy who people are saying they see some positivity out of him. And Bear the Truth just keeps it in mind, keeps it in perspective. An uninspired victory is still a victory. There's no reason for fans to get ahead of themselves based on what they've seen so far this season. And maybe that's the right way to look at it, Bear. Not to get ahead of themselves, good or bad. Good or bad. But yeah, I saw even more people not very impressed with this head coach today. And look, man, he's the defensive play caller. He's the defensive guy. Not using any of the other words that we used to use on this show, but time and again, it's the defense. Like, it's not the offense. It's never them. It hasn't been them since 2023. And yet it's still unimpressive, albeit today in a victory. But I think this defense continues to hold them back. And, I think many coaches will tell you the old line of, like, players win games, coaches lose them. Like, the one constant of this defense for the last 4 years, 4 seasons, 3+ seasons anyway, whether he's calling the plays or not, Dave Aranda oversees that defense. And it's just not good. It's just not good, man. I know they've had some injuries, but still, I mean, we're talking about Oklahoma State. And here's the other thing, Ryan, I'm going to pick on you here because you're putting it in the comment section. But yeah, a lot of them were gadget plays. I get that. Oklahoma State was throwing the kitchen sink with Doug Beacham as their OC, now as the head coach. Like, throw the sink at them. But to me, that's just, again, like, we just find an excuse every week, man. Every week there's an excuse. It's the gadget plays, or it's the injuries, or it's the refs were against us, or it's Dave Aranda getting back used to play calling, or it's all the number of positional coaches and coordinators that he's fired. Like, there's always an excuse, and that's just what I'm sick of at this point. And Ryan's not the only one. I hate to pick on you, Ryan. Sorry, because I know you follow along with the show, but I see it all the time. Like, there's just always an excuse, and that's the thing, is where I'm trying to find when there's actual excuses and when there's not. Even with, like, the injury situation. It sucks. Like, Baylor's defense has gotten hit by injuries for sure. But, like, Carl Williams was in and out of the lineup last year. Devin Turner got hurt in May. It's like, how much can I just be like, oh, well, Devin Turner's hurt? Jackie Marshall not being 100%, that's one thing. But it's just like, it's just sifting through excuses every single week. And yeah, it's mostly for Dave Aranda in particular, maybe even more so than this team. But you won. You won. Cynical Bear. Good name. Better comment. And it's not something you can point to in the box score or anything, but he says OSU looks shocked to be that close. I think you're right, man. I think you're right. They almost didn't know what to do being that close. They threw all their gadget plays in the first half. I thought they were for sure going to fake that last punt. You saw the crowd shots. Like, nobody expected it to be this close, and it shouldn't have been this close is what I'll say. Again, it just shouldn't have been this close. Decaf Dave, that's a new one. That makes sense. I got you. And here's kind of the prevailing thought to put this all into, put a bow on it here as I continue to go through the comments. But the prevailing thought for me was this was supposed to be a get right game for Baylor, right? 2-2. They lost last week, even with Oklahoma State firing Gundy. Like, this is one of the worst teams in the Power Four. I don't care if they fired their coach necessarily. I don't care that you're playing on the road necessarily. Like, this is supposed to be a get-right game. There's a reason why the line was 20.5. This was supposed to be a get-right game. Did that feel like a get-right to you? Did that feel like Baylor got right today? So, you could say that I'm being too cynical after a win, that I'm too negative, and that I'm looking at the glass half empty. But let me just ask you that question before you say any of it. Did it feel like Baylor got right today? To me, it felt like the defense got worse than where it was last week. I don't see right here. I'm just, that did not feel like right. When the defense is playing worse than Tulsa did against them, that's not right to me. When their offense, Oklahoma State's offense, comes in as the number 115 total offense in America. There's only 136 teams in FBS. Only 21 teams are worse than them on offense. I guarantee a lot more than 21 teams had 400, or a lot. Going to say that again. I'm guaranteeing you the 21 teams behind them didn't have 450 yards of offense today. I don't have the time to look it up, but that's going off of vibes. Like, you can't, man. You can't give up 450 yards and 27 points to the number 115 offense in America. It's the worst FBS offense they'll play this year. It's the worst FBS quarterback they'll play this year. And they made him look pretty good. They gave him some hope in this game. And that just stunk. And they had some negative plays in the run game, but the pass rush did not pass the eye test for me today. Again. So no, I didn't feel like they got right. Yeah, it's got to be, maybe this is a good thing. Stay off social media during the game. I was going to say I'm a victim. I'm not. I'm a perpetrator of this. Like, as you guys know, follow me on Twitter and follow the account, the show account. Like, I throw some stuff out there. I'm very in the moment. It's very stream of consciousness. So yeah, it's, oh no. Sorry. Real quick aside. I don't think it's a good day for Zach Blackerby at Locked On Auburn. Oh man, that's a brutal, that's a tease team of the season, the Auburn Tigers, with how good they looked the first couple of weeks, and Baylor saved their reputation. They have not looked very good, and our pal Jackson Arnold has not looked good at all in 2 SEC games at all, man. Reminder, he ran for 140 yards against Baylor. Oh, sorry, Ryan says, wasn't trying to make an excuse, just curious. Yeah, and I think it just brings up a greater point, Ryan, is there's just a lot of excuses for Dave Aranda and for this team and for this defense. And it's like, the offense has had some guys hurt. They made some of their own adversity today. They had another turnover. Sidney Fugar false started that are held. I think he had 3 penalties in this game. And yet they always find a way to look good. And the defense just doesn't. So yeah, I just didn't feel they got right today. I do want to highlight Michael Trigg a little bit before we cut this thing off. I tweeted it out. Like, there's no way for us to quantify this, unfortunately. But WAR in baseball, wins above replacement. I wish we had that in college football because Michael Trigg's WAR would be phenomenal. Phenomenal. When he's not on the field, Baylor's offense is still good, but it is not nearly as good when he is a threat, when he's on the field. And you saw it, what was that, in the third quarter? The announcers were talking about it, and they were like, still no Michael Trigg on the field here. And Baylor was running into a wall, and they had a 3rd and long, and Michael Trigg went back out of the field, and he made an awesome play and got the first down. Like, he is such an important part of this group. Is he the best player on the team? Probably not. He's close, right? But like Josh Cameron, terrific player. Sawyer Robertson, obviously, terrific player. Bryson Washington, terrific player. But Michael Trigg, when he's out there, there's a totally new part of the Swiss Army knife. It just makes that Baylor offense look that much better and have that much more of a threat. And I love that they basically ran the jump pass play twice. They did the actual jump pass play, which was the one that went to Klopfenstein early in the game. And then I think the next drive, they essentially ran that same play, but it was a play action. They just faked the handoff, kind of dove into the line. Sawyer back out, Michael Trigg, nobody near him, touchdown. Love that play. Absolutely love that play. And it was almost like Jake Spavital was just getting into his bag because of how tough the defense looked again. But yeah, I just wrap up with it is an 18-point win in the conference, and you need to win, okay? But this was a get-right game that I don't know if they got right. I just don't know that they got right in this game. I don't think that gives you confidence going forward. But if you guys did get some confidence, let me know. Kansas State, obviously, they've had their struggles. They had a kind of a whale of a time with UCF today. I think they ended up winning by 11 because with 8 minutes left, Scott Frost decided to kick a field goal when he was down 14 and cut a 2-score lead to a 2-score lead. But like UCF gave them a bit of a fight today with their backup quarterback in. So, let me get to this one here. Anyone else hear the announcer say, this is from Billy Love, that Baylor has proven themselves as battle tested? What do they know that we don't? They have been battle tested. I don't know if they've proven they can come out of it. You know what I mean? They had two, I think, still good opponents to start the season, and they split them. And then the next good opponent they lost. So they've played good opponents, but I don't know if they've come out of it. Bernie, maybe this is a good point here. You spent most of your last show talking about how we were afraid Oklahoma State would scare us because of the Gundy firing. Then we win by 18, and you're mad. Yeah, dude. But that's also that's not even analysis. That's hey, this is a wrench that was thrown into our week on Tuesday, right? That the only thing that Oklahoma State can rally around is the fact, because they don't have talent, the only thing that they can rally around is the fact that their coach got fired, and sometimes that leads to good things. And that it happened against Baylor in the past. Did I realistically think they weren't going to win the game? No, I didn't. I did not realistically think they weren't going to win the game. And yeah, I'm just a little disappointed. It was ugly. And I would rather have that than lose. But yeah, and then the game played out. That's the thing. Then the game played out, and it didn't look good. I'm sorry, man. If it passed the eye test for you guys, let me know in the comment section below. Maybe I'm disappointed because I think this team is better. I just think they have more talent than this. I think they could have won this game by 35 today. Could have, or 24. They absolutely could have. So when I think about this team and what I thought they were capable of at the beginning of the season and how we feel now, it's not dire. It's not drastic. It's just not as good. It's just not as good. And I'll be looking for that Scotty B video, Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. Great song. I like Should Have Been a Cowboy even better by Toby Keith. R.I.P. Toby Keith. But it's Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy, a little bit easier to dance to. So looking forward to that. But guys, let me know what you think. Maybe you're with Bernie. Am I being too negative about this? Seriously, let me know in the comment section below. Were you okay with this? And if they win next week by 14, I think we'll all be okay. But were you okay with this? Did it pass the eye test for you? Do you feel better about Baylor this week after losing a winnable game last week? And Arizona State looking even better. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Then, guys, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We, of course, come at you every weekday. And tomorrow morning or afternoon, depending on where you are in the country, we will have our Big 12 squad recap live on YouTube. So tune in then. I will be the host once again. You won't want to miss it. Certainly, we'll talk a lot about Baylor and Oklahoma State because my pal Cody Stovall is always in the squad show. So, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, subscribe. Thank you so much for making this the #1 Baylor football show on YouTube. I appreciate the heck out of that. It's because of you guys, okay? I really appreciate that, and I don't say it enough. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and we will see you on the next edition of your favorite show. And that, of course, is Locked On Baylor.